I have to take my pencil out now. This is live on the YouTube. I just came back from the TikToks. Nobody was really on TikTok this early. I know I went live on TikTok last night. I might post a few of those clips today. But it was jumping, y'all. We had like 145 people that came through. Y'all rocked with me for an hour, just talking my bitch. But yes, let's see who's here. Who's here this morning? Okay, one thing about me, I love a good mashup. Like I have a whole mashup playlist. I privated it because I shared the link with somebody, and I don't want them using my ish. Because you know what people do. People, I mean, mans, they will use your whole personality as if it's theirs. And it's like, no, dude, I put you on, and you ain't about to use this on the next because your music taste is whack. But let me turn this down. I don't think I'm staying here too long. Okay. So not to keep you guys up, I just want to see who's on here, who's popping. I want to talk about something that has been very similar to the conversation. We talked about the Feminine Alchemy Network, and alchemy is taking the experiences and variables of life, whether you are adding them or using what's presented to you, and using this to better yourself and better your life. So talking about personal development, spiritual development, etc. But I want to go into this experience that I shared a little bit last night. So I was in a I'm gonna call it a situationship. This person calls it a relationship. I don't think it was a relationship because when I'm in a relationship, I don't date other people. Anyway, so that's how that is. But it's not so much about the person, this guy. It's not really about him. It's about identity. And one of the things I think is really important when we are engaging with life is to having a clear understanding of who are you. One of my favorite childhood stories is Alice in Wonderland. And in the cartoon Disney version, right? The caterpillar is doing his little puff puff and he's asking Alice, who are you? And that is a conversation that has came up for me multiple times. I see y'all coming in. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Drop them in the comments so I can see y'all. 'Cause I can't read the chat. I don't know why I can't see the chat. Maybe 'cause I'm on my phone. But there's a question that comes up consistently. Well, who are you? Because based on who you are, not who so much who you say you are, but who you actually present and show up as, is actually who you believe you are to be. So right now, I'm in this program right now, a year program, and it's really centering around identity because my identity has shifted many times before. There are different archetypes that have superseded my own personal identity, like for example, mother, the identity of mother, the identity of sister, daughter, employee, friend. But the question always comes about me, even being a lover. Who am I? What is my identity? Because based on how not just what I say that I am, but also how I show up and engage, really set the tone on who you are and who you identify as. So I knew when I came to this new city that I'm in. I mean, it's not a new city. I moved here like almost 15 years ago, but it's new to me because 15 years is a lot. A lot of things happen in a city in 15 years, and it's a new. And when I came here, I was very clear that well, since I thought it was very clear that I was going to be a very specific way and a specific person. And well, what ended up happening? I ended up meeting the right wrong person and got into them and engaged with them. What are we talking about? We're talking about identity. We're talking about identity. What do you identify as? Who are you? The famous question from the caterpillar on Alice in Wonderland. So, life is a wonderland, right? And we are all Alice searching to know the answer. Who are we? So, I got in this relationship, and the thing about relationships, right? Whether they're interpersonal, friendships, business, romantic, whatever, they always reveal to you who you really are. So in my life, I've done a lot of personal development work in myself. However, you don't really know how far you are or how far behind, if you want to even look at it like that, until you start to engage with other people, with experiences, etc. So I got into this relationship and I was thought I was clear on who I was, but there was an important question that a teacher of mine asked: who are you when you are in love? A lot of us don't know that. We think, oh, I'm this, bad bitch. I'm this tough person, or I'm this lover girl, lover boy, whatever, whatever. We take on these perceptions, right? Versus the identity of what we are. So when I got into this relationship, I was to me, I thought I was being very clear on what my intentions were with this person, what I wanted to do. And then of course they introduced other variables within this situation that I wasn't really for, but as the weeks and months went on, I was like, okay, I could give this shit a try. Let me give this person a try. Let me give this thing a try because there was a lot of synergy there, chemistry, all this stuff. Did all that, and what was revealed to me was a lot of the things that I thought I had already did work on. Not that I didn't do the work on it, but it still came up. There's like residue, and you don't know where you're at until you engage with the world. A lot of times, what I don't like about the spiritual community is that there's this lot of conversation about healing, and there's a time, a place to heal. There's a time to be disengaged, but unless you get on the field, get back in the game, you don't really know how far you came or how much more work you have to do. So a lot of the things that came up was my need for external validation, and I didn't have this conversation with myself till after some weeks after like ending the situation was like, yo, I still needed external validation, not so much from this person specifically, but what this relationship would have represented to me in the perception of how I show up in the world. Because as much as I know I've done work in identifying as a true person in myself and owning all parts of myself, the good, the bad, the ugly, the wicked, the good, the whatever, right? There were still parts of me that wanted to be externally validated because there were experiences I had that still are imprinted on me, or more so the residue. Let's say that the residue of it is still there. So seeking that validation of feeling chosen, seeking validation of, oh, I can get me a rich figure because I like a rich figure, eight figure, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that, because again, it's not about the person, it's about who you are and who you show up as. And recognizing when somebody is not giving you something that you need. And it's a difference between a want and a need. A lot of times we make concessions for people based on our perception of them and or this the potential of somebody, right? Because there's potential here, there's chemistry here, there's all the things, there's attraction here. And end up making these concessions for this person who doesn't necessarily deserve that, because yeah, in the beginning they were going real hard body on you, love bombing you most likely, which I knew was a love bomb in the beginning, but I was like, well, I'm gonna enjoy the ride. And then I was somewhere in the mix, I got lost in the sauce, y'all. Got lost in the sauce. And I was like, okay, what is my intentions and what are my true desires? Because what is truly fueling my flame? What is truly fueling my desires? Because I had an idea of what I thought my intentions were, but then when I really got in the thick of this situation, it made me realize, like, oh, wait a minute, you are not really truly honest with what you really wanted because you really want X, but you're engaging with it as if it's Z. But X is what you want, but you're saying Z, but you're engaging with it as X. So you are not being true about your intentions for self because I don't really give a dang how the other person felt. It was really about me being true to my intentions, and the inconsistency started happening in this relationship. And instead of me just recognizing it and then it's like, okay, let me observe and pull back, I leaned in more because there was something that was feeding my, I guess you could say, insecurity, or even, yeah, I guess it's insecurity. The part of myself that wasn't fully secured in my identity, this portion part of my identity. So during that time, too, I actually went through a tumultuous situation with an employer. So I ended up being unemployed and having to not so much rebuild, but do a transition from one form of identity of being in this industry for 13 years to this other industry that I've always been a part of, but have took some breaks from and other things, but was getting myself back on the swing of it. And I think that life is so amazing because it would usually thrust you into something like it's like a bird, right? When baby birds are in the nest, they're not ready to fly out the nest yet, but that mother bird has to push them out. Like, no, you got all the skills. You need to just go and do it. And so that was something I was going through, experiencing while I was also engaging in this relationship with this person that was being inconsistent. So after getting out of the relationship, I had to ask myself, okay, inconsistencies were showing up. I recognized them as inconsistencies, but instead of drawing back, I leaned in more. What am I telling myself? What is it that I really am saying? What is being mirrored back to me? Because where am I inconsistent? Y'all, I think I missed the trash man. I think I took my trash out too late. Dang it. I ain't had my trash done for 2 weeks, doggone it. But anyway, so what I end up doing is start asking myself, where have I been inconsistent for myself? Because what I start to recognize, the inconsistency came that instead of staying focused and true to myself, because one thing a man gonna do, because I'm heterosexual, so I do the man's, it is what it is that men are some of the greatest teachers of being selfish. What does selfishness look like? Doing what you want to do that. And for me, I'm a do what I want to do kind of person. Even if I'm doing something that's probably shouldn't be doing, I'm gonna do it because I want to do it. Um, but what I was recognizing, I was using this relationship as a distraction to focusing on that difficult transition that I was in. Like this one identity of operating in this one way of getting money into transition to this other identity of what is scalable for me beyond what this corporate career was presenting and offering me at the time. But this concept of stability, this guy represented stability to me. This person also represented structure to me, somewhat disciplined, only because they're a business owner and they've been operating their business at a high functioning level for many, many years. So they were representing that to me. But what was showing up was inconsistencies. And that's where I had to take self audit. Okay, I have been inconsistent with the identity of goddess in my life. I have been inconsistent with the rituals in my life. I have been inconsistent with going hard and for what I know I want to do. Like I go after things, but then I felt that if I had this person along with me to validate some other experiences that had nothing to do with the new transition of career I had, then I could be able to pursue these ideas and careers. You gotta give me 100K ring first, honey. Listen, one thing about me, I'm a gold digger. Huh. Um, so what I get to that point is what I want everybody to understand is that it's not what you say you are, it's how you engage with life is going to say what you are and how you're going to be showing up and how you allow yourself to be treated because people won't treat you how you let them. And if you let somebody, I'm gonna use the word disrespect, but it wasn't necessarily just well, yeah, it kind of was disrespect. It was kind of disrespect on my time. It kind of did play on my top a little bit, but that's because I was playing on my own top by not believing that I can be and do and validate and be seen by witnessing myself because I felt that I needed a witness. I needed somebody to witness me. I needed somebody to see me in this low point as I am transitioning, building my empire brick by brick, making it bigger and better than before. Ha ha. Right. So, the conversation identity, I'm going to talk about that a lot more because I think it's an important topic for a lot of people. I was sharing this conversation with my kid about authenticity. And she was watching a Black Mirror episode. It was the one where people were like rating each other, like their social ratings, and the girl ended up crashing out at the wedding. And I was like, yo, one of the things that's really interesting is that we live in a world that is predicated on prefaces and wearing a mask. Everybody has a role or they have this external identity that they've been placed on them that may not be authentic to who they are, but you're operating within it. And the thing I want my kids to understand, even with myself as I say this, is that authenticity is something that you cannot get. But at the same time, authenticity is something that people are magnetized to, attracted to, maybe even desire. But when you show up authentic, right? It this ain't your fault, this ain't your problem. But what happens is people who can't show up for themselves in authentic ways, they will start to make you the problem. They will start to try to formulate stories on you being the problem then versus their inauthenticness. And what I wanted my kid to understand, and what I want you guys to understand too, as I'm saying all this, is that you have to get to a space, regardless of what others are and doing, and live it out, and that comes with a price. Sometimes that means losing friends. Sometimes that means not being invited in certain circles. Sometimes that means being ostracized. But more importantly, it means you get to create your own lane and then you're free. You're free from this It's like the wheel and the little, what's it, a muskrat? What's the little thing that's running in it? The hamster. You're free from running in this hamster wheel that's really getting you nowhere. You're exerting energy, but you're not going anywhere. You're not living, because I love this line from the Nicki Minaj song "Moment for Life" when Drake says, "Everybody dies, but not everybody lives." Like, we were all born to die. Oh, I didn't miss the trash, y'all. The trash is pulling up right now. Yes, perfect. But what I'm getting at is cultivating yourself is going to create friction. However, the friction is necessary because you got to release yourself from these precepts that are made to keep you controlled, made to keep you from fully expressing and living life that you can curate for yourself. Like the thing we can cure, especially if you were here in America, United States, let me tell you, you can be anything. Like, come on. You can literally be anything. And I think a lot of us are so privileged that we don't recognize the privileges that are set before us. Even with the hey, good morning, y'all. Even with the constraints of maybe sexism and racism and ageism and ableism, like those are real constraints. Don't get me wrong, but despite that, you can still do and be whatever you want. Is it going to, am I saying it's not going to have some struggles? Am I saying you're not going to have challenges? Absolutely not. But until you are secured and 10 toes down on who you are, and being that in every place you go, of course there's adjustments, like if you're in a business meeting, depending on what your business is, there's going to be probably a presentation that you're going to give. Or if you're with your homies, there's a way you show up there. But you're authentic to yourself, and you don't deny yourself your authenticity, and you don't deny you from being you. So, with all that being said, I'm landing my plane on identity. I'll talk a lot more about this because this is really where alchemizing your life to really living the best life for yourself that you are presented to do. But you got to do the work for it. You got to do the showing up for it. And I think the hardest part is actually showing up as is and living a judge free of self life. But that's all I got. If you guys have anything you guys want to say, please put it in the comments. I'm starting to see y'all's comments now. But I want to give you guys a moment before I log off. But if you guys are on TikTok, I'm on TikTok with the same name. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go live on TikTok tonight. It's a little more unhinged on TikTok, y'all. Just letting y'all know. I keep it cute, keep it demure over here. Even on Instagram, it's a little cute, little demure a little bit. But TikTok is what we kind of get in the nitty gritty. But all right. I don't see any more of y'all comments coming through, but thank you guys for showing love for me. This is the Feminine Alchemy Network. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I do go live sporadically on here. I already mentioned you guys, I got some interviews coming up very soon that'll be posted really soon. This is just a great space where people, particularly women, but just people in general, share their stories. And gives other people, let you know, like, hey, you're not the only one. And these are people who have went through these maybe similar experiences that you have, and they can speak from how they not just overcame, but how they start to thrive. Because that's what I really care about. I want to know about stories of how people are thriving. What got you to there? What was the mind shifts change? What was the experience change? What was the action change, if any? And share that with you all. But all right, until next time, y'all. Peace.